And we're back for the second portion of today's episode, today being April the 4th, 2019. All right, let's get me on the screen here. All right, so the system is up and running again, and the reason I reset these to break them down into smaller chunks so people can look at the video description and find what they want and not have to sit through a 30-minute or 40-minute video trying to find that portion that they want. Anyway, let's look at some of your comments real quick. Alright, so Negan Vu wrote, "Do you know how to do a Johnny Weir lunge, the spider lunge? If so, can you make a video about it? Thanks." Yes, I have not actually done the spider lunge myself. I have seen skaters do it, so I could play around with it. If it's something that I can comfortably do and explain to a reasonable degree, then I will do that. So let's put a pin in that for now till I can play around with it. I know what you're talking about. Let's put it that way. But I haven't had a need to try it. I've done other lunges and other different poses, but this one, like I said, I'll have to play around with it, see if I can do it effectively, and if I can, then I'll make a video of it. Alright, so let's move on. Epic Reaper Gamer 97 wrote, "Hi Oleg." Hi Epic Reaper Gamer 97. Glad you joined us. "Can you please give me some tips for a bracket? Thanks." Okay, now concerning brackets, there are... Okay, so you have the forward, inside, forward, outside, back inside, back outside, and of course left and right. So a total of 8 brackets. So in this case, I'd want to know specifically which one you're looking for. I'm guessing you want the forward inside bracket. So let me see what I can do here. I'm going to switch things out real quick, and I'm going to let me just 1 second here. We're going to look at some bracket videos. Okay, so we're on my website, istancerolig.com. Let's go to playlists, and then we're going to go down to turns. Okay, now, here, I'm going to look at real quick which bracket. Yeah, now some of these, I haven't fully organized completely. I have to go back in and organize the turns. I think I just got them by the times that I made them. But I'm just going to go through here and see where I did the brackets. I don't think I've done too many brackets, actually. I think I may have done only 1 or 2 videos on them. That's something I definitely need to do. I haven't completed all the turns videos, so... Okay, we'll look at the bracket pivot exercise. This will actually help you for if you're looking for the forward inside bracket, which I'm guessing is the one, like I said earlier, because that's the most common one. And just a second here. Have to rise and turn. So you come in with this twist right here. Let's roll it back just a bit so that we can watch it. Okay, so you're coming in here with the bracket. Now, in this case, I'm a little too far around. I probably want to still be coming up the ice, and then at this point I would be already turning. So what would happen, because it's very hard to get a clean bracket. By clean, I mean something that would pass muster in a skating competition for ice dancing. But what happens here for brackets, you want to have this cross check. So you have you're twisting this way with your body facing toward us in this case, or you're facing perpendicularly to the turn, so the direction of travel, your skate's going this way, your body is facing not with it, but against it going this way. This cross check will help check you. And then as you turn, you still want to maintain this twist. So we go here. See now what happens is, I'm still facing the shoulders toward us right here in the video, and this will help you to maintain the exit edge. And then what happens here is I'm going to do, this is just the bracket by itself. But next I should do the bracket pivot. Let me show you here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so for skaters struggling with doing a exit edge with a good back outside edge, that if they tend to flatten this out or unravel, you can do this. You can do a bracket with a pivot on the end, and then this will help you get used to doing that strong back outside edge. Now, it doesn't have to be super deep, but it has to be clear enough so that someone standing by the board, say, can look at your feet and say, yep, that was a forward inside edge and a forward outside edge, and it wasn't flat. At least, I mean, it's pretty strict in dance. But that's something, you know, if you can do it very well, then that will be very good. And so, like I said, we pivot around and then just come on out. So, yeah, as I'm saying here, you know, you want to be smooth in your action, avoid jerky movements. Again, just doing a bracket by itself, and then here we go again. Going for the bracket pivot. Anyway, Epic Reaper Gamer 97, try this out and leave a message if it works for you or if it doesn't. If this is not the specific bracket that you're looking for, like I said, there are 4 different brackets and a total of 8 if you count both feet. So let me know in the comment section, and let's move on. Okay, and getting me back on the screen here, let's take a look at what other questions we have. Okay, again, I'm sorry if I get any of your names wrong. I'm terrible with names here. So, Legatly Spelunking, I hope I got that right. I've been stuck on 1 foot 3 turns for months now. I can do it well left forward outside, but right forward outside ends up being forced / scraped / all kinds of problems. Also, right forward inside is good, but I can hardly even do it left forward inside. Any tips? Yes. So, in this case, you have a situation where the skater is working on turns and they can do certain turns, and in this case we're talking about 3 turns, but they can do certain 3 turns and not others. And in other words, I mean, if it's like a clear mismatch where you have, okay, so this 3 turn I could clearly do, but this one I clearly can't do, then what you want to do is you want to strengthen your overall edge control. So let's get on that. Alright, so we're going to look at some exercises. If you have a problem like that, sometimes it's easiest to fix it by fixing what's underneath, so to speak, breaking it down. And in this case, we're going to look at edges. So if you look at moves in the field, they have some very good exercises for 3 turns and just for everything, really. The US system is just really good about building up skaters. And where did I put this? 1 second here. Okay. Basic consecutive edges. Okay, and let me just roll this back. And even further. Okay. So this is an exercise you can do. You don't have to do this specific action with your free leg and upper body, but the point is you work your edges, and that's going to make a big difference in your ability to do effective 3 turns. If you have very strong edges, then you're going to have a much easier time of doing other things, in this case turns. So if you're struggling with one specific set of 3 turns, then you take those edges that you're struggling with and then you work on them separately and strengthen them, and then also work on your cross checking. So your ability to cross twist. See right here is a cross twist where you want to, well, in other words, you want to be able to rotate your body so you're not always square. Like if your hips, here, let me just pause this and play it again. Okay, so see how my hips are looking one way but my shoulders are rotated this way, and then I'm gonna turn around and rotate myself back onto here. Your upper body has to be able to twist from side to side very effectively, and then we're gonna go back into that in a second. I'm gonna give you an exercise for that, and here we go. So just work on your edges. We're just gonna look through the rest of this real quick here. And of course you have a forward edge and a backward edge when you do 3 turns, or a backward and a forward. So work on them like this. If you can have those edges a lot better, then your 3 turns should improve considerably. The other thing is, of course, mileage as well, and understanding the technique. If you're going to do a 3 turn, let's say you're doing a forward 3 turn, you're going to start from the heel. when you go to turn, you're going to rise and turn the ball of the foot, then you're going to go back to the heel. If you're backwards, you're going to skate in through the heel, rise and turn on the heel, and finish on the heel. So in general, we skate through our heels. Okay, now for the cross twisting exercises. Let me see here. Okay, right here. Just gonna jump ahead till I find it real quick. This is a quick warm up for off ice. Right here, this exercise, as you do this, you want to make sure you want to keep your hips steady and let your shoulders rotate. So in effect, you got like a plus going on. Shoulders going this way, hips going that way. You're making a plus. And then when you do this, this enables you to carry that over into skating so that when you're on the ice, you're able to do all kinds of turns. You have to be able to do cross-checking, because if you can't do cross-checking effectively, then you're just going to have a very hard time doing any kind of control on turns. Now, at what point do you have to check yourself? Well, as you're rising and turning. After the turning will already be too late. So, now, as a final thing, let's look at some actual 3 turns here. And then I'm going to just look at a couple of 3 turns videos. Now, keep in mind that what I say about 3 turns here applies to other turns as well. So these things that, you know, if you're struggling with, say, mohawks or brackets or whatever, again, you can strengthen yourself by working on your control and your edge quality and understanding the technique. And that's going to make a big difference, but it's not as simple as I make it sound. It takes time. All right, now you can do 3 turns individually, just back and forth, or you can do them going down the line. Let's see here. All right, I'm just gonna roll this back here. All right. So I'm cross twisting, and then I'm checking myself. As I'm doing this, I'm trying to pull my hip, my free foot, and my free shoulder back to keep myself from falling inward. And maintaining that edge. And then what you do is just go back and forth over and over. It takes mileage to be able to do it effectively. Again, I'm checking my hip and pulling my toe back, my free shoulder, pulling everything back to keep myself on my edge. If I let this swing around, if I keep my knees together, I mean, you could do that. It just makes it harder to control it. You're going to have to work more and be careful with your edge. But when you turn, if you keep your knees together and if you're not doing any kind of checking up here, you keep your shoulders together, well, you're going to have a hard time with that edge. So you just are going to end up falling right off of it. Now again, there's more than one way to check, but just keep in mind you have to do some kind of checking. And by checking, it means a certain position that you go through to keep yourself from over-rotating. So in this case, a check consists of pulling your hip back, pulling your free foot back, checking your free shoulder, and keeping the skating arm on the circle you're on. So this is the circle you're on, and you want your arm on that same circle. You want both arms on that circle, but especially the skating arm, because this is the one people tend to let go. They let it swing around, and the whole body swings around afterwards. So you got to be careful there. All right, now let's look at where is it? Okay, now in the moves in the field, and you really should just look through anything that's got the word 3 turns in it, because there's some really good 3-turn exercises that you can do in there. There's alternating 3 turns on the line, for instance, and then there's a bunch of other ones I'm going to show you. Again, I'm not going to go through every video, but they're in the playlists. You look at my moves playlist, and then you'll be able to see them there. Okay, so here is just 3 turns down the line. So you have the axis. Axis is the thing you go down on. In this case, the blue line is my axis. And I just do the turns back and forth down the line from one end to the other. A lot of this is going to be mileage. Yeah, I tend to bring that up. You know, people often struggle with a lot of things, and the thing to keep in mind is it's hard. It's just hard, and it takes time. It takes a lot of effort. So just keep going with it. Don't get frustrated. Don't judge yourself or ever call yourself terrible. You're definitely better than some skaters, and there's definitely others better than you, and that goes for everybody unless you're the absolute best. So yeah, you can practice this down the line, or let me show you another one here. Of course, you can do forward outsides or forward insides and backward. Well, the backward ones, let me show you what that would look like here. Alright, and let me see here which one. These two are back to back, episode 14 and 15. You have the forward outside and backward inside 3 turns, and the forward inside and the backward outside 3 turns. So check them out, and let's just watch one of them. Alright, I'm going to move it back to the top. So I'm doing this like the move sequence. You start from a standstill, you're allowed up to 7 strokes. If you go over, then there's a deduction for that. But in this case, I mean, again, you don't have to do it specifically like it is in moves. You can do it in other ways. But this is a very good pattern, and you can practice them, and it should help you with your 3 turns. Again, this might be too difficult. Just doing them back and forth like I initially showed, it might be easier. And by the way, in terms of the way I check it and my free foot action, I mean, that's optional. You can do different action for your checking and your free foot, but this works for me, and this is generally how I teach it. But keep in mind that the action that you go through will inevitably vary when you do other things, when you do programs. You won't always do the same kind of action that you're going to stick to religiously. There's any number of things that you end up doing differently or counterintuitively sometimes. So that's actually something I will be covering in the double 3 turns video that I was recording. I recorded all this stuff, but it just came out blurry and I wasn't happy with it, so I'm going to have to re-record. But essentially what I did was, at the end of the video, I talked about all the rules first, and then I intentionally made a double 3 turn that went against all those rules, and I showed you how you could totally do it differently and it would still work just fine, assuming you understand the technique behind it and you have control over the technique. And that's what it comes down to. You have to find a technique that's taught by your coach, or if you don't have a coach, then just from anyone that knows, or even just watching my videos. Practice it and then develop it, understand it, and then once you have that, then you could experiment with it, alter it, bend it, and so forth. Okay, well, I gotta pretty much wrap it up for today. Let me just look at the comment section real quick, because I gotta get up pretty early tomorrow. But let me just see here real quick. Okay, I'm just gonna read the rest of your comments and then I'm gonna head out. Let's see here. Epic Reaper Gamer wrote, mainly forward, outside, and inside. So we cover the forward, inside, and I will be making the rest of the turns videos as well. So look for that. And again, like, there's a lot of things I gotta make, and I will be making them for you guys. I mean, I really enjoy making these videos. And then You're welcome, Epic Reaper Gamer. Reaper Gamer wrote, thanks. Okay, and then student loans are cool. Oh, hey, how's it going? Yeah, we haven't been able to catch up with each other, but yeah, I'm glad you're back and we're able to see each other. Oh, like, how long should it take not to feel skate pressure pain? That's actually a good question. And you skate 2 to 3 hours a week and sometimes 5 depending upon on ice rink hours. And then I'm just going to read the rest of your comments. I'm going to answer that question. Kelly Hecker wrote, "Hi, Oleg and everybody." Hi, Kelly. Epic Reaper Gamer writes, "I need some help on double 3 turns, forward and backward. Do you have any tips? Thanks." I will be making that video like I was mentioning earlier. Stay tuned for that. So hopefully I'm going to have that out pretty quickly. And Ligeti Spelunking, again, sorry for getting any of your names wrong, wrote, "Thanks for answering my question about 3 turns. Lots of great tips, especially the one about strengthening weaker edges. I'll be sure to try and work on them next time I'm skating." I'm glad it helps, and yeah, just leave a comment, tell me how it went for you. Now let's answer that last question, which was, here we go, where was it? Okay, student loans are cool wrote, "Oleg, about how long should it take to not feel skate pressure pain? I skate 2 or 3 hours a week and sometimes 5, depends on ice rink hours." Okay, well, it's a complicated question. There's a number of factors that you have to consider. It has to do with a couple of things. First of all, it has to do with the structure of your body, its mass composition, health, and so forth, age. You have to think about the condition of your legs and feet, and it has to do with the condition of your skates. So all things being equal, let's just take my own experience. So let's say relatively healthy, mid-age, and let's say decent skates. I don't feel foot pressure pain unless I am doing something really intense, like let's say I don't know, maybe like an intense run through with a new program that I haven't done, and even then I don't typically feel foot pressure pain, but under intense situations I might, and it's nothing serious, it's just something that occasionally might happen. But in general, no, I don't feel foot pressure pain. And how about my previous experiences? Well, when I first got my skates early on, I was training within about a month or so, maybe a couple weeks. I was training 4 to 6 hours per day, and I was around 18 at the time. I wasn't unhealthy, but I wasn't like physically active, so I guess I was just normal, I guess. And I had a good pair of skates, and yeah, my feet would hurt. They would hurt a lot, and occasionally I'd take them off and then let my feet rest, put them back on, skate. There's a couple of things that could be going on. If you got a brand new pair of skates, they will hurt. You have to break them in. You can, if you have specific points that hurt, you can get them punched out. If you have a flat foot, you can get like a Dr. Scholl's insert or any kind of insert. You could also get custom-made boots. Harlick is what I wear. They make custom-made boots, and they do a very fine job. And like I said, a lot of it is that your body will strengthen with time. The body's really amazing about how it adapts to various situations. And also, very quickly, you can lose that kind of fitness and strength if you don't continue maintaining it. So I would say, if all things are equal, and again, I mean, if you gave me a very detailed description, you don't have to put it in the chat. You could always just message me directly on Facebook or send me an email to istanceroleg@gmail.com or whatnot and give me very detailed specifics. I can probably kind of point you in the right way. But my guess is that what's going on is your feet aren't fully used to the pressures and rigors of skating. And also, as you start to use more edges, the pressure will start concentrating from, say, like flat, this is say your typical pressure, to start being on sides of your foot, like here or here. And then you're going to feel a lot more pressure, and your feet might not be ready for that. But with time, your body will adjust. And again, all things being equal, unless there's some illness or something I don't know about, with time it will get better. For now, the solution would be to make sure properly warm up, to stretch before and after, to do off-ice conditioning on days you can't skate, to jog. That makes a big difference. And with time, you're going to get stronger. And if it hurts, just take them off. Stretch for a little bit, put them back on, even if it's every 20 or 30 minutes, then, you know, you should be better. Anyway, try it out. I know it's kind of vague, but again, I need very detailed specifics. But as a general rule, that's kind of where you would have to go to. Okay, and let me just see here. Yeah, that's it. And I'm just going to say good night, everybody. And let's wrap it up for today. I'm glad we were able to do these 2 streams today. And stay tuned. I'm going to have more streams for you next time. If you don't have time or you have a question and you weren't at the stream and you're watching this after, just leave a message in the comment section and I'll get to it in the next stream or the stream after. Alright, well, that was fun. I hope you found this entertaining and educational, and I certainly wish you the best in skating. So keep going.